I'm Esther Dillard on the Black Information Network, chatting with writers and authors who offer an added perspective for our listeners. This is The Color Between the Lines. On this edition of The Color Between the Lines, we're talking with a motivational coach and successful businesswoman by the name of Dr. Sonja Stribling. She is a retired U.S. Army major and former battle captain, and she's also runs a 9-figure business that is called P3 University. She's here to talk to us about her latest book called From the Battle to the Boardroom, The Infinite Desire to Win, a Woman's Journey to Infinite Success in Life, Business, and Career. Welcome, Dr. Stribling, to the BIN.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to have this conversation on this very platform. So I'm ready for this one.
I started reading your book and it was really, really captivating. A personal story that really touched my heart. You wrote about how you were the youngest of 12 children. Your dad had a second grade education. Your mom had a third grade education. Your family was a sharecropper family, and you had a lot of traumas in your life. Your dad was run out of town by a family that used to, I guess he worked for. And then one of the other things that really stood out for me was that you had your first child at 15 years old. And that's just some of the major details. I just wonder, with all that trauma and all those challenges you faced in your early life, was that the reason why you wrote this book, or was there something else?
Well, I would say with all those things, when you were saying, I'm like, whoa, that's a lot for anybody to go through. But the reason for the book was, I would say, a combination of a couple of things. One was because of the life that I had prior in my childhood and all of that. But the second reason, honestly, was because I knew there were people, especially women, that were out there that needed from a zero to a hero story, shall I say. And because a lot of times I was looking for the hope, just somebody give me a glimpse of what my life could change from where it was to where it could be. And I couldn't really find that. And so when I got to this point in place in my life where I'm running a highly successful business and I'm out there speaking and doing those things and helping my clients get to the next level, I knew somebody needed to hear, how did you do this? And that's the only thing I did. I put it in a book. That's the best place to put it, to give people the opportunity to read it over and over. But it's not just a book. I would say it's a movement for us to be encouraged, inspired, and really to take action to do more.
In the book, you also talk about how success is not just having a map, but also having the right mindset. Please talk about the things that trip people up when it comes to both those areas, both the mind and the map.
Oh, yeah, the map in itself. I was just thinking back when we went away from maps. So you remember that? You remember how we used to get around pulling up a map, and now you just pull it up on your phone, and there's necessarily not a need for a physical map. But I believe there's still one needed for the mindset mapping and the things that you want. Mindset trips us up a lot, but most people I hear it all the time. You go to social media, they're talking about mindset. They talk about a thing, but most people are not really showing you how to use a mindset map or how to shift your mindset to have the type of things that you want or have the lifestyle that you deserve or having the loving relationship that you really desire. And so when you think about mindset, what is the thing that needs to be shifted in your mind that is keeping you, let's say, stagnant or keeping you on this pathway to not taking you to a level of success? When we talk about mindset shift, what is the very thing that holds you back? That's the first thing you have to identify. And then thinking about what is the life that you want. And so this roadmap, once you identify the mindset that is needed, and what's the roadmap or the game plan to get you to the life or the lifestyle or the relationship that you desire.
I love how you brought out the fact that the battlefield and the boardroom and those connections. And you talk about this in the book and how it's different than what most people kind of imagine. I wondered if you could just kind of explain what your battlefield and boardroom mean in your book.
I'm glad you asked me that question because I was just talking to a gentleman today and he was going through it and he assumed because he was military that he thought he knew what it was about. And I was like, no, let me explain just a little bit. Those who actually read closely to the cover and the back, they understand a little bit more. But when we talk about, and the reason why I titled it From the Battlefield to the Boardroom, because it was more not just my story, it's a story of many of us. And when I say battlefield, it's the things that you went through in your life, whether it's childhood neglect or abuse and those things, and the battlefield that you may be on right now. And that battlefield, what is the thing that has you in a place where you're unhappy? Where is the battlefield is the things that are happening to you right now that may have you unhappy. And when I talk about boardroom, it's not corporate America. It's not going into this boardroom where there are chairs, you know, the big chairs, and you got the CEO or the VPs at the round table. A boardroom is a place where you get to decide your level of success, whether it's your life, your career, and your business. A boardroom is where you get to pull the biggest chair up to the table, your table that you're creating, and you get to make a decision of how you want your life to be. And so that's why I call it From the Battlefield to the Boardroom. Yes, is it a play on of my 21 years in the military, 3 combat tours to include Iraq? Yes, it does. But it's the battlefield that we all find ourselves. And we all have a battlefield story. And some that are listening right now may be on their battlefield right now. But I just wanted to share that there's a way that you can go from your battlefield to your boardroom. You get to design that room, not a physical room. Well, what's that place and space in your heart and in your mind of where you desire to be, where you're happy and you're fulfilled?
For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Esther Dillard with the Black Information Network, and we're speaking with motivational speaker and businesswoman, Dr. Sonja Stribling, about her new book, From the Battlefield to the Boardroom, The Infinite Desire to Win, A Woman's Journey to Infinite Success in Life, Business, and Career. At the end of the chapters, you have homework for folks. And I love that because homework is where a lot of the good stuff happens. Deep inner work for readers. What would you say are the most challenging things that people that you've coached say are for them?
You know, when I laugh because when we say, I'll say life work, homework, or I would say alignment work. And what the assignments at the end of each chapter is doing to give you the opportunity to do a recap on the chapter, but it also gives you an alignment assignment. Like just one, I was just going through just a moment ago, and I started chuckling at like, what? I asked him to do that. I can't believe I asked that. It is just thinking about how you got to where you are. What are some things that have you unhappy? Are there some people you need to apologize to, or are there some people that you need to forgive? And having you sit down and do the alignment work to help you align to the life that you want. And I did that specifically because I didn't want this to be just like another book. You know, there's so many books that are out there, but I believe there are very few that are written in this caliber to really help, especially women, take their lives to the next level, their life, their career, and their business. And so those alignment assignments is really to help you come into a place and a space where you get to do I would say a gut check, to really start looking at what is it that I need to shift and change in my life, because what got you to where you are right now is definitely not going to get you to the place where you want to be unless you make the shifts, unless you come into agreement, into an alignment of, hey, how did I get here? And furthermore, how do I get out of this place? How do I get off this battlefield? And so that was the reason I wrote it in that way. And some people what I've heard so far, Esther, is some people like they appreciate it. Like, you made me think. It wasn't just me reading the words on the paper, but it made me think about, what do I need to do? What do I need to do right now? Those are the kind of navigational plans and game plans that need to be written. And it's not just another book. It is really a new roadmap for us to be better people.
I guess what was the most difficult exercise for you, Dr. Stribling?
Oh man, that very first one. Coming to grips with how did I get here? Let's just be real. Every single chapter has an alignment assignment. That very first one, that's why it's first. Because sometimes we don't, it's like going into a mall. I know it hasn't been a long time since I've been in a mall, but the last time I was there, I was like, okay, I know there's a particular store that I'm looking for, and I've never been in this place before. So guess what I had to do? I had to go to the map, the digital map they have up. It's like, okay, and it says you're here. That was the first assignment. Identify where you are. It's the discovery phase. Where are you right now? And then you have to look on the map to figure out where I want to go. I want to go to Neiman Marcus or wherever the place may be. But in order to do that, I have to read the map, and it tells me what steps and where to go. Is it upstairs? Is it on the third level? Is it on the first floor? and going through that. So that was challenging for me. And honestly, I haven't been able to go through the book and not get emotional, because it's a real journey, not just for me. I think about the clients I've had the opportunity to help them build their next level speaking and business career to 6 and 7 figures, and knowing that they're the first millionaires in their family and they don't have to rob Peter to pay Paul. I get emotional because I remember the journey I went through in order for me to help someone else go through that very journey, to help them have a better business, a bigger business, or a better life.
You mentioned in your book that folks need a good coach. Some need a good therapist, and jobs are extremely different. Can you
Yes.
explain why you focused on that, and why did you think that was so important to make the distinction?
It's twofold, because I get asked all the time, well, okay, Dr. Sonja, how do I find my right mentor or my coach? And a lot of times when I'm listening to them, what they're asking for is really a counselor. And coaching and therapy are two different things. A therapist is a person who helps you with your past, per se. It helps you identify where you are. They help you identify where you are and help you get to your next level and start dealing with what the problem really is. When you come over to this world of coaching, we help you future pace where you are. Right? If I'm a life coach, I'm helping you future pace what you want your life to look like. If I'm a business coach, I'm helping you future pace what you want your business to look like. Versus having a therapist. All I imagine when I was I'm a reformed licensed clinical faith-based counselor, and I remember my white couch having conversations. That's not what I do anymore, because now I'm thinking about the future versus dealing with the past. That's the big difference that I really want people. And I made sure it was something that was upfront and personal in the book, because there are people right now, they're looking for people to help them, and they think they need a coach, but the truth be told, they may need a coach, but they also need therapy. Professional help, there's nothing to be ashamed of. It is absolutely needed, especially with what's going on with the world right now. I can't even imagine what is happening in the world and people not seeking out professional help to help deal with, remember the pandemic, what we all went through, being isolated from your family, birthdays you spent alone, being in a house, especially if you were single or even if you were married, you're not accustomed to being in the house with your spouse every day, all the time. And you had to, I know you're laughing because you remember that. You're like, wait a minute, hold on. I know I like him. I realized and learned a lot about myself during that time. And so I wanted to make sure that people understand therapy is something that is much needed in this world based on what we deal with, but so is coaching.
Because there is so much to cover and so little time, please tell listeners your main message that you hope that they will get from the book.
That you can go from your battlefield to your boardroom, but you have to, one, have a strategic plan to do that. The discovery phase is having a game plan to get to your next level, life, career, or business. There is a way to do that. There are times that you have to find a navigator, you have to find a mentor, you have to find someone to help you lead the way, or that will lead the way and help you get there. And that's the only thing that my prayer is for those who read the book, who engulf themselves in what's taking place, but really want that next level life, career, and business. It's all about coming from your battlefield and going into your boardroom. And I'll leave with this. If you didn't come from a wealthy family, ensure a wealthy family comes from you. And that does not just mean financial, it's emotional, it's spiritual, it's relational, and financial. It's time for us to put in the work, and it's time for us to do it now.
Wow. Well, thank you, Dr. Stribling, for joining us on the BIN.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that's it for this edition of The Color Between the Lines. The book is From the Battlefield to the Boardroom, The Infinite Desire to Win, A Woman's Journey to Infinite Success in Life, Business, and Career. I'm Esther Dillard for the Black Information Network.